I mean, to be frank, I was trying to talk Johnnie Tech out of leaving his job because it was so stable.
I didn't quit my job to say like, oh, JustMyTechCents is taking off, so it's time for me to work on my solo thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't that.
That would not. That would not be smart.
Exactly.
What's going on, Tech Team? It is JustMyTechCents, and I am WillDoesTech, and I am joined by my co-host
Johnnie Tech. What's up, Tech fam?
Johnnie Tech, and today we're going to talk about where we've been, because it has been a while since we have actually sat down and talked on the mic and delivered an episode of JustMyTechCents. So, Johnny, what have you been up to, man?
Man, I quit my job.
Really?
I quit my job, man, during that time.
I'm acting like I didn't know that. I knew.
Right. Right.
But in these times, right, I mean, hearing that somebody quit their job, I mean, that's a scary thing. So, I mean, what happened?
Well, let me definitely preference it because, like, I didn't quit my job to say, like, oh, JustMyTechCents is taking off, so it's time for me to work on my solo thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't that.
That would not be smart.
Exactly. Nah, so I wish I quit because of JustMyTechCents had just already taken off, and we just, we raking it in.
Right.
Not yet. But for career progression, yeah.
Right.
So I basically, the job I was at currently, or previously, I decided like it was no longer serving me for what I wanted to do with my career.
Yeah.
So I just had to kind of step out. Like I was at a very stable position where I could pretty much not say do what I want, but like I was very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I could have still been there now if I wanted to. But I just decided like I needed to step out. Previous episodes, like I spoke about wanting to be a security engineer and working my way towards that. So I decided to go ahead and start looking for new positions, and I ended up landing a security engineering position.
Yeah, and I mean, to be frank, I was trying to talk Johnnie Tech out of leaving his job because it was so stable, it was so secure, and he knew his job. He was able to actually maneuver any way that he wanted to because he knew exactly what he had to do from a day-to-day basis. And in these turbulent times, I just didn't think it was the smartest move. He did it anyways. Again, he's his own person, which is cool. I mean, great. And he ended up getting a really good job, paying more and doing what he wants to do.
Right.
So I applaud him for having the courage to actually go out there and test the market out and get this job that he has that he seems to be really enjoying.
Yeah. So far, so good, man. It's always that going into a new position, there's always that learning curve, and I think that's something that people are somewhat fearful of, like, the imposter syndrome. Like, is this the role that I want to get into? But I'm always like, I'm putting the time in, I'm studying. It's like, I was studying a lot before I got the position to be a security engineer. I was on TryHackMe and going through those different learning paths and just kind of putting everything that I knew together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking like, okay, can I utilize the knowledge that I'm getting where I'm at now? And I was trying to, and it was like, I kind of was at the point, and you can see this when you get to certain jobs, like, we just need you to do this, right? So you like a lot of people talk about it's what you can bring to the company, but sometimes you're already doing what they need you to do, and there's not a lot of room for improvement in that sense of like, you're great at this, that's what I want you to do, but I just wanted to expand, and I feel like all the things that I'm studying, learning, the home labs, I was like, I want to find a place to apply it, and I feel like sometimes you actually have to leave the position you're in order for people to either see you in that light or for you to even get that opportunity. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of just stepped out and said, okay, this is what I want to do.
Right. And there are things that, job-wise restrict you. Like you think about separation of duties, and the role that you actually were doing in that job, you couldn't expand, right? So as you said, you had to go and find another job elsewhere. Now, did you just quit your job and not have your current job, on hand, or...
Of course not. I would not recommend that. I've heard of people doing that.
I just want to clear that up because you didn't do this,
no.
And not have a backup plan.
Right. So we say quit, but I definitely searched, found another position. I even negotiated with my at the company I was with previously. I said, hey, I got a new role. This is what they're offering me. This is what's going on, and they said, all right, hit the road.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
And sometimes you gotta hit the road. Right.
Exactly. But I mean, like I said, I don't have anything negative to say about my last position. I learned a lot. It was great. Yeah. But just moving forward, so far things are going good.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone. So, I mean, how was that job search while you were in the process? How long did it take you when you started applying?
Man, it took a long time. I would say, to be honest, it took about a year.
Okay.
Because at this time I was working on different certifications. I was working on courses, adding in a master's degree to my career because like I said, I'm in the guard, so I was like, they're gonna pay for it, I might as well grab it. So I was like, you know what, I'll wait till I get my degree, and then I'll just test the market. So I started to test the market, and I was like, man, I'm not getting that many bites. Right. So I'm getting a lot of rejection letters, everything. And I think that's just how it is.
Why do you feel like you weren't getting any bites? I mean, was it certifications? Do you think it was experience? Or do you think it was just the job market?
I think it's the market. I think I definitely think it's the market. I think it's a very competitive market. And then once you get to a certain point in your career where you want a certain salary, you want certain benefits, that also limits you to the jobs that are out there. Because there's plenty of, I was getting hits on some jobs that I was like, well, no, it's not really where I am. So like you put out this resume, this great resume, you're like, I'm highly qualified for the position that you believe you're qualified for. Right. But then you might get contact for a job that's like, oh, no, I did that like 8 years ago. Like I'm not really in that position. So, I think that's part of it. But definitely, so it took me to find a role that was for me, took about a year. And then even that role, it came with some things that were, I'm traveling, I'm hybrid, but on most days I'm traveling like 2 hours to work. So I have a huge commute, but it was like, I was like, well, it's worth it. It's going to benefit me in the long run. So I just decided to go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, good. Was there anything that you had any obstacles that you faced when you first got the job? Any kind of qualifications you had to get, like certifications, or you just had everything when you first got there?
So even like I'm saying, the credentials in my resume, I was like, oh, I'm good for whatever role. But even this role, they were like, we need you to go get Security X, or formerly known as CASP. So I had to go get that certification. They gave me 6 months to grab that cert, so I had to go ahead and buckle down on that as well. So I was like, and previously, because on my own time, I was studying pen testing because that's just something I'm interested in. So like some of my home labs, even though it's not what I do career wise, I'm interested in that. So I have been, let me look at pen tests, look at some of these TCM labs. I had to kind of stop that and focus on getting Security X. So that was one of the requirements. And that test, it's not an easy test just for the sheer amount of information that's on there. Like the content is really broad. So, and it's broad, but it's also, you have to have a deep understanding of what you're actually doing. It's a practitioner test in the sense of engineering. So it's like, it's not just knowing the different protocols or just knowing how to, you got to know how to implement it and when to implement it. So that was like, definitely I had to dive into that as well.
And that was for which one?
That was for Security X, the CASP.
Okay. So you took PenTest, right? Now with your current job, do you need PenTest?
Nope.
And what was your thought process behind getting PenTest? Because that, to me, is not something that I would typically do. But again, that's me. Right. I'm curious as to your thought process as to why you got PenTest.
So, like I said, I feel like I've been in the cyber field for a long time and I understand how it works, but I fall into some of the same traps as everyone else. Like pen testing is sexy. You want to, so it's like, I just want to know how to do those things. I've been researching. I'm like, and I justify it to myself in the sense like, okay, I'm a blue team. That's where my expertise lies. But I'm like, if I learn what they're doing, it's going to help me, which it is. But at the same time, it's like, okay, that's my reason of justification. But also I'm like, it's good to know. I like to know how to do those things. Right. So that's why for my position, it didn't necessarily help me get that position, but the more knowledge you have, the better. Because like, as long as you know how to utilize the knowledge that you're getting. So for pen test, I can always sell it as like, for my role now, security engineer, I'm thinking about security. So I'm like, well, attackers are want to attack this way. Yep. I also make detection rules and methods and things like that. So they go hand in hand in that sense. But am I going to be hacking anything? Am I doing any of those things right now? No. But like I said before, I talked about how I wanted to be a security engineer. So maybe in the future I could work my way towards purple team. Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah. And I think for me, it'd be a matter of, would I study pen testing, learn the tools? I would. Would I take the actual test? I'm not sure that I would, just because there's money that's involved with that and keeping up with that. At the same time, you're studying the offense, or you're studying the enemy, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever holes you might find within your organization, your system, your environment, understanding what the offense can do to your defensive posture is a great thing to know. So as you're talking your management through we're exposed over here due to this system not being patched or
Right.
whatever the vulnerability is. You're reducing that exposure just based on your understanding of how some kind of adversary, attacker,
Exactly.
hacker can use it. So
that's pretty much exactly how it works. So we've been talking about a lot about me and what I've been doing during this hiatus. Like, what about yourself? What are some things that you've been doing?
Yeah, so I've been working on growing this beard out.
It's like a new guy, right?
Yeah.
WillDoesTech 2.0, right?
Yeah, so growing this beard out for one, two, just staying focused on my fitness as I, continue to age, and then I also got a new job, and a lot for me was trying to figure out what this next life looked like as I transition from my previous job into my current job. And with that, I was looking at GCIH. I was looking at all these other certifications that align with what I did in my previous job. But then I ended up getting a job in GRC and consulting, primarily in cloud consulting. So, I'm a senior cloud consultant in the GRC space. So now I've really honed in on learning that space, learning those frameworks, learning the certifications that I need or getting the certifications. So since then, I've taken CISA, I've taken CCP, I'm preparing for CCA, and I'm also preparing for CRISC, CRISC for ISACA. So those are some of the things as I continue to hone in on being a better GRC consultant, have been kind of taking my time.
Right.
Additionally, I do like the engineering aspect of IT. I like the technical aspect of it too. So when I'm talking to clients and they tell me that they've implemented certain controls, I truly understand how the controls work beyond the beyond surface level.
I'm glad you mentioned the engineering piece, because a lot of times when I hear people talk about GRC, it's literally like, oh man, it's a non-technical role, and it's kind of like it's just an easy avenue to get into the field. Like, how do you feel about it since you're doing that role? I'll say my opinion first. I think a lot of times when I do a role, I hate to hear it like in a diminished way. Like, oh, you don't. When people say it's non-technical, I feel like they kind of speak on it as it's easy to do. Right. So, like, what's your opinion on it that you're in the field now?
Yeah, I think the barrier to entry is lower than if you want to be a true engineer, you want to be a developer. From the technical standpoint. That said, when you're dealing with a client and you're asking them what control measures they have in place that would meet the spirit of said control objective, if you don't understand what you're looking at, then what are we doing here? Right.
Nah, I agree.
What are we really doing here? Right. So asking and interviewing clients with an understanding of what needs to be seen, what they need to be doing in order to meet that control is, for me, a priority. Something that, again, though my interviews might not be happening in, let's say, present time, I'm researching their technology. I'm researching what it should look like. And then when I ask the question, I have an expectation. So when they show me something that goes counter to what I believe should be implemented, I start asking questions. I poke and I prod. And that makes you a better auditor or assessor. Can you get by just asking, framework questions? Sure. You're not going to make it far, and people are going to laugh at you and take it as a joke because you don't understand. They show you, you're asking for something that's on Windows, group policy, and then they show you something on Linux, and you believe them.
Right, exactly.
It's like, no. So just understanding all of that, and again, understanding cloud technologies, right? S3 buckets, the difference in AWS, GCP, Azure. There's so much to it, and you can just sit idly by and ask questions, but do you truly understand it? So there's the challenge if you want to be good at your job. If not, again, people will sniff you out, and again, you'll be.
I definitely think that's the message that people need to hear more of, because like me being in the engineering role and this partly security architecture as well, I'm running into a lot of those things too, as far as like how the auditing goes, and it's not my job to do it, but I have to understand that piece of it as well to say, okay, well, they're going to be looking for these controls to be met, and I need to tell them how my system does it. So it's like I'm learning how that is done in its perspective, and it's like if I'm coming to be audited by someone who doesn't really know how I'm doing it, it's like, okay, we're meeting it, but how do you know I'm correct? And also on my end, I'm like, I feel like a great engineer could also do that role as well. And because like at the same, like where I'm at right now, it's not necessarily, I'm not doing a lot of the configurations. I'm able to just look at something, view it, and maybe a read only or something in that standpoint, and just say, okay, well, this is not being done here. So it's almost hands off, but still you need to understand the ins and out of it. Because you have, like you said, you mentioned earlier, there's still that separation of duties where you can't control everything in a sense of like put all the security measures in place, say how it should go, and then go be the one implementing it as well. Right. So
yeah. Right, 100%. So yeah, I mean let's go ahead and wrap this up. But we just wanted to give you an update on where we've been. We plan on starting this thing back up and being consistent now that we have transitioned into our new jobs. I've been at my job for about a year now. You've been at your job for
almost a year.
Yeah, about a year. So we've transitioned in, and we feel like we have a good grasp. And for those who don't understand what goes into a podcast and not, outsourcing any of the editing and all the stuff, all the things that come along with it. Shorts. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, thumbnails, all the stuff. So I know that AI is something that we can use, but at the same time, it's still a lot of work. So again, we just wanted to reintroduce ourselves again. I'm WillDoesTech. This is JohnnieTech, and we'll be talking to y'all soon. Out.
Peace.